Time now is 9 minutes past 8, and with the news and a special guest, here's Kevin Mooney.
Thanks, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. In lieu of the fact it's a pretty light news day, we're glad to have Rick Tuggle on, who's in charge of security over at First State Bank. And really, these guys, it's that time of year, right, Rick, where you guys are seeing a lot of fraudulent activity. Actually, it's your accountants that see it, right? And you do as well.
Yeah, it's our account holders, and so that's who we're trying to warn, the general public and consumers out there. First of all, thanks for having me.
Oh,
we
you
appreciate
bet. No problem.
any time that KNEB gives us on the air, but almost as a community service, we just felt like we saw a real uptick in particularly fake check fraud this year. And so fake check fraud is when you receive a unsolicited check in the mail, usually with the promise of a prize. And lots of times it can be a prize you never entered for, a prize that you don't have a ticket for, but they'll tell you that because you shopped at a certain store or you are online that you are automatically entered. And sometimes it will use a legitimate name like Publishers Clearinghouse, but lots of times it will come with a business check. The business check can be drawn on any business across the country because they've compromised that account, and it is fake. It is a complete counterfeit check. It'll be less than $5,000 most generally. And then when you call the number on the letter, they will ask you, deposit or cash a check, and then send money to them via Western Union or some wire source for fees, for legal fees, for taxes. The check in about a day to 2 days comes back as counterfeit because there's been hundreds of these checks mailed nationwide, and that account's probably been closed. And then you're stuck. You are sitting on that loss. And so we just want people to be vigilant. We want people to be vigilant about giving their information out. They get busy this time of year. It's a holiday season, and this is a time that bad guys and thieves use to prey on people. And it really will continue now all the way through tax refund season. As we see through tax refund season, people have more money because they get their refunds, and that's another prime time for fraudsters to perpetrate stuff.
Right, and internet crime, there's like 5 different ones. We can quickly run through them. The fake check scam is the number one problem. But there's others, the internet merchandise scams. There's just tons of them, right?
Yeah, and you can go out to a website called fraud.org. It's a government-sponsored website, and it will tell you what the top ones are at any one time. These are the top 5s. The number 2 would be the internet merchandise scam. So you're selling something on eBay. We've seen this. This has actually been attempted here in the Panhandle. Selling something on eBay, lots of times a bigger ticket item like a vehicle, you get a full price offer. How often do you get a full price offer? But you get a full price offer, and then they offer to pay a little more for shipping the vehicle, which can cost $1,000, $1,200. Then they call you later during the transaction and say, we've handled shipping on our end. Since we paid you extra for that, cash a check and Western Union or MoneyGram $1,200 to us. The check comes back fake, counterfeit. You might not have lost your vehicle, but you're out $1,200.
Yeah.
And so these are the types of things. Bogus prizes, we kind of mentioned that. Free gifts. Again, everybody knows this old cliche, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Just give yourself a chance to think about what this transaction is. Or go to your banker. Trust me, you won't be embarrassed. You will not be embarrassed. We've heard this 100 times, and we're not in the business to make anybody feel bad. We're in the business to help protect them. And this is all banks. This isn't just First State Bank. If you go in and you have a question about identity theft, they've appointed a person that can help you with that process. Bankers see this because we are the focus of where these transactions will move through. And so we've seen what a fake check looks like. We can call on that check. We can find the bank it's drawn on. So we can do those things. If there's some sort of loan program, or let's say we sometimes would have collection agencies that, or credit counseling agencies better, that aren't reputable. So you need to look them up. So if somebody's promising to consolidate all your loans, but they want like a big upfront fee or something like that, talk to your banker or look them up on the Better Business Bureau, bbb.org. A lot of information here. Other one, and this can lead to identity theft too, is phishing and spoofing. So if you don't know where the email came from, delete it. Somebody really needs to get a hold of you, they'll call you. I mean, if they know you, they're going to figure out a way to get a hold of you. So don't click links in emails if you don't know where it came from. Just delete it. Keep your PCs and your computers up to date on virus and malware. Keep your passwords hard to guess.
And back things up.
These are all things that we've heard about, but we often neglect, particularly during the holidays. And then that's when the bad guys can prey upon you.
All right, one other quick thing. You guys obviously have your own service. Like you said, all banks have somebody like you to kind of check out all the security stuff. IRS scams, as we move into that tax season coming up.
Yeah.
Real quick, what should people be aware of?
Yeah, Irs Identity Thefts kind of new in the last 4 or 5 years, but it's billions of dollars in stolen refunds, really. And so what happens in this case is through some other form of identity theft, they have compromised your Social Security number. Okay, maybe you gave it to somebody accidentally, or maybe it was stolen in one way or another. And so once they have a Social Security number, they will file your tax return before you and claim a large refund. And then that refund will be deposited electronically somewhere. When you go to file your own real taxes, the IRS says, you've already filed your taxes. We don't need you to file again. And then you find out, oh my goodness, someone filed taxes for me and stole my refund. But usually it's a lot bigger than what you were due because they have made fictitious numbers. And so careful, always guard your Social Security number. I mean, that is really important. You can give it to your banker and you can give it to people you trust because they need it to transact business. But guard your Social Security number.
All right.
Yeah, that's very important.
Very good. If you have any other questions, you want to call Rick over at First State Bank, Rick Tuggle. At First State Bank, just give him a call and he can help you out a little bit.
Happy to talk to anybody about this, even non-customers. We talk to high school students. We talk to our senior group because seniors are particularly vulnerable to this because they have landlines, they're home a lot, and they're talkative and trusting. And that sometimes is what the bad guy's looking for. And it's really too bad. It's sad. The big deal in 2015, this was a $15 billion worth of losses.
Yeah.
So
be very careful.
Yep.
All right, Rick.
Okay.
Thanks much.
Thanks. Appreciate the time.
You bet. Rick Tuggle in from First State Bank today. And be wise about some of that stuff he just talked about.